Good morning, Vikings fans. Welcome to the Yellow Horn. I'm your host, Chris, and today we're going to preview your Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. This is probably the biggest game of the season, clearly. I mean, and this is exactly what the NFL wants, coming down to the last game of the year, basically, for everything. I know both teams are going to the playoffs, but let's be honest, getting home field advantage would definitely benefit the Vikings. Um, I think you know, everybody's expecting a shootout, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Detroit is completely, beat up with injuries on defense. And as I had said on Twitter earlier this week, the defense that you saw last week is not going to be the same defense that the Vikings see. It's a interdivision game. It's at home. So the defense is definitely going to be a little bit better for Detroit than it was last week. Um, they're still going to give up a ton of yards. I expect Kevin Kevin O'Connell's always aggressive, but I expect him to throw a lot more than he has. I think last week against the Packers, I think Sam Darnold threw around for 40, um, 40 times, maybe 44. Um, I would expect that to rise this week. I would like to see him committed to the run game a little bit more, and get Jones and Akers going to help keep Detroit off the field. But Kevin O'Connell has proved he's pretty aggressive in his play calling. Seeing that the secondary's beat up, I would not be shocked to see Darnold throw close to 50 times. Again, I don't think that's the best game plan, especially if they come out slow. It's one thing when they come out fast, as they did against the Packers and just go up and down the field. But I do expect them if they come out slow, that's a recipe to get behind somewhat quickly, and that's what they need to avoid. I would say, try to keep it balanced on offense if possible. Attack the middle of the field with Addison and Naylor because all the coverage is going to go over to JJ. Um, and on the defensive side of the ball, they got to find a way to get some stops. This defense gives up a lot of chunk plays, especially when they don't have time to set. That's when this team's at the best. When they have time to get right personnel out there, the time to scheme against what they're looking at. I don't. I expect Detroit to come out maybe no huddle, high tempo, and just attack this defense and try to get them tired quick and not allow them to, get fresh players in and out of the lineup. I expect them to attack the Vikings secondary as very similar to the Packers did last week. You saw in that second half, all they did was, a lot of stuff over the middle. They went no huddle, and it was there. Big chunk plays. This defense almost goes into a shell, almost like a prevent shell when they don't have time to set. You're seeing the DBs 10, 15 yards off, almost in a zone. And the Packers last week found huge gaps in the middle of the field, and I expect Detroit to kind of do the same thing. I expect them to go no huddle, up tempo, and you know attack the middle of the field. Where the Vikings need to change from the last meeting is work on getting more pressure on Goff and keeping him in the pocket. That's kind of what did them in the last game. The Vikings should have won the last game. I don't think that gets talked about enough. The Vikings, were one first down away from closing that game down. And we forget that Jared Goff made a couple great plays with his feet. Um, I expect this defense to do their best to keep him in the pocket, to try to get pressure with four and keep a spy on him. Have it be Blake, Cashman, or have it be Pace. Somebody to just keep an eye on him if he starts coming out of the pocket. Flores is definitely going to have a couple of wrinkles that Detroit hasn't seen, and this is the time to do it. If you got some stuff you've been holding on to, now's the time to try it because win or lose, you're in the playoffs. Don't go in with that mentality. But if you have something that you could throw at them that they haven't seen yet, then I think you should definitely do that. Um, Going on the road is going to be tough. Uh, Regardless of what we think about Detroit's defense, that's going to be, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough atmosphere. That being said, if the Vikings can come out and weather their early storm, because let's be honest, it's going to be crazy in that stadium. If they can weather the early storm, I see the Vikings winning this. Probably around 35-28. Um, it's going to be high scoring. That's probably on the lower end of it. I think the over under was like 50 on this. So I do expect it to be over. I expect the Vikings to come through with a W. I think this team needs it. There's something special about this team. I don't know what it is. Um, I'm still holding my breath, but I'm an old school type of guy. I'm always waiting for the other shoe to fall when it comes to the Vikings. But I like seeing the Vikings win this. I'm going to stick with 35-28. Skull Vikings. See you Sunday.